Welcome back to my channel where we share scary stories from around the world. Today's story is from a Reddit user. I was working security at a large hotel in a bigger city many years ago. Our building was one of about 10 that were all joined together side by side, and our building was the last one on the far right. Most of the rooms were pretty standard business traveler rooms with 2 double beds, a desk, TV, mini fridge, and safe. But we had one room that was kind of a dump. It was a smoking room with 1 double bed and no TV or mini fridge. The safe was there though. It was always the first place I checked when I did my room inspections because there were buttons in the safe that would trigger the silent alarm, and it was easier than trying to get into the room's computer. This particular night, it was just me and another guy named Frank working. We got done with our inspections and went to sit in the lobby until our shift ended. About 30 minutes later, the fire alarm goes off. So we hit the pull station closest to us and make our way to the roof, which was our meeting spot for drills. We look around and see nobody, no smoke, and the alarm still blaring. Frank tells me to go check out the floor below us while he calls the front desk to let them know what's going on and to get maintenance up here. As I walk down the stairs, I can hear voices coming from one of the rooms down the hall. As I get closer, I can hear someone talking loudly and then grunting. I stop at the door and I listen. They start talking again and then grunting. I open the door and shine my flashlight in. There are 2 guys in the room, rummaging through the drawers of the desk. One of them is wearing a Halloween mask. I immediately identify him as the guy that tried to rob a Taco Bell earlier that week. And he looks up at me and yells, "Oh my God, he found us!" I didn't have time to respond because he was already running away. I start chasing after him, but he turns the corner and disappears down the hall. I reach the end of the hallway and turn around to go back to the room. I wanted to get the description of the other guy and see if it matched anyone that we had in the system for trespassing or anything. As I get closer to the room, I hear noises again, but now they sound like someone is choking and making gurgling sounds. I stop outside the room, listening, heart pounding. Whoever is in there is definitely making some weird noises. I don't know what to do. Should I call the cops? What if they come in here and kill me? Then what? I decided to try the handle, and the door opens. To say what I saw next would be an understatement. The man was lying on his stomach on the bed. His hands were cuffed behind his back. His clothes were all neatly placed on top of the mini fridge. My eyes followed the trail of blood starting at the bottom of the bedspread, traveled across the bed and down onto the carpet where I saw a pair of severed legs. I almost lost my breakfast. At this point, I'm thinking I need to get the hell out of here. As I'm backing out of the room, I can see more blood trailing from under the bed. I close the door, leaning my back against it, trying to catch my breath. I don't want to make any sudden movements, and I certainly don't want to open that door again. I wait a few seconds, and then I run to the stairwell and book it down the stairs. I'm practically sprinting at this point. I meet up with Frank and tell him to call 911. He asks what happened, and I just tell him to look in room 214. We make our way back to the roof where we wait for the cops. When the officers arrive, I tell them what happened. They ask me if I saw the guy with the mask, and I explain that I only saw him for a split second, but he was wearing a Halloween mask. The officer looks in the room and comes out shaking his head. He tells us both to go home for the night and that they'll call us if they need anything else from us. I drove home with a bunch of questions. Who was that guy? Was he a paid killer? Why was he staying in that room? Was it really a room full of drugs? And what happened to the other guy? The next day I get a call from my manager telling me that I did the right thing by leaving and that the hotel will be closed for the rest of the day due to an ongoing police investigation. I never heard any details about the case, and neither did anyone else at the hotel. It wasn't until months later that I was able to get more details. Apparently the guys broke into the room next door to ours. The room was occupied by a family of 4 who were visiting the city for a baseball tournament. The dad was asleep when the intruders broke into their room. The mom and the kids were in the bathroom. The dad was killed, but the family's 16-year-old son fought off the intruders. Both of the perps were arrested and charged with burglary and murder. The surviving perp claimed that his cellmate made him take the deal, even though he said he was innocent. So why do I think that the person I saw in the room was the killer and not the victim? Well, the position of the body was wrong. If the perp was killed in that room, then how did his body get moved to the bed? If the victim killed the perp, why wouldn't he remove the body completely? And if he removed the body completely, then where is it? I searched that room from top to bottom. I tore that place apart looking for clues. There was nothing missing from the mini fridges, dressers or closet. Nothing was overturned except for the bed. The only thing of interest was a small amount of blood that appeared to be spattered onto the ceiling. This suggests that whatever happened in that room, it was violent and it happened quickly. All of this could have been explained away by a crazed murderer, but what if it was something more sinister? What if there was a secret killer lurking around the hotel that struck when he least expected it? It's likely that this was the work of a highly trained professional killer, someone who entered the room, did what he needed to do and left without leaving a trace. But why did he leave the body there? Perhaps he planned on coming back for it later, or maybe he was interrupted. Whatever the reason, it's clear that the killer knew exactly what he was doing. When I saw the body, I couldn't help but wonder what the victim must have gone through in those final moments. Was he scared? Did he fight back? Or did he accept his fate calmly? It's a terrible thought, but the killer likely took great pleasure in his handiwork. He had carefully severed the man's head and limbs and arranged them in a specific order. This is a clear indication that he wanted his victim to be identified. He wanted to send a message, but what was that message? Was it a warning to others or a way of showing dominance? It's hard to say, but the killer certainly wasn't afraid to make a statement. The case remains unsolved to this day, and the killer has never been caught. But that doesn't mean that justice didn't prevail. The victim's family was able to bury him with honors, and his memory lives on. The story serves as a reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places, but it also shows that good can triumph over evil. Ultimately, the killer was brought to justice, even if his name was never revealed. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and join the community. We share creepypasta stories and other scary things. Also, if you want to support the channel, we have memberships available. And with that, I'll see you next time.